What up, people? It's your boy, Master Chudy out here with another Stargirl review. So we got Stargirl, episode 8, which is a continuation of course, the last episode 7, where we saw Stargirl and Shiv throw down, and it was a spectacular throwdown indeed. But in this episode, we kind of scale back the action for the most part until the very end. But a quick summary. Um, Stargirl basically is taken to the hospital. Of course, Pat has to fake it as a car crash. So, everybody's just reeling with the consequences of Courtney's actions. Pat is like, look, you're going to rest up. I don't want you doing anything crazy. You got Courtney's like saying, hey, I'll rest up. Don't tell my mom, please. I want to be Stargirl. Got Courtney's mom having to come back. We even got Mike with a nice apology to Courtney saying that, hey, I'm sorry um, for all the things I said, basically. Courtney's friends are like, hey, look, we need to do something. Rick wants immediate action, but Beth is like, hey, we're gonna have to try something smarter. So they do. So basically, they try to go ahead and infiltrate Cindy's house to see basically what info they can find. And Pat has the same idea because he meets Beth there and the people there. So he and Beth go into Cindy's house to do some investigations. And of course, they meet Cindy's mom. Uh, Likewise, on the other end, Cindy pays a visit to Stargirl. And it starts out, Cindy in her own odd way apologizes for her um, anger at her and whatnot. And Courtney's just sitting there uncomfortable, basically, basically speaking. Um, back at back at of course Cindy's house where they're talking with the moms right there. Um, they see that hey, we can't find. She puts on the goggles basically, and it's funny to see Pat and Beth just you know joke their way out of scenarios with this woman. But it's not really their fault. It's not really her fault because she's under strict orders to act a certain way. But we see that they find out that she has no known identity, like they can't trace her. And so basically, Beth decides to say, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom," and she does some more investigation, and she sees that there's a keypad, and of course, Doctor Midnight's AI cracks it. 1999. I believe that is the debut of Stargirl. I'm not too certain, um, but we do know that hey, she finds the code, and then she just finds access to the tunnel, basically. Um, Allow me to also go back and also mention that hey, at the aftermath of the whole thing, Cindy comes to her father saying that hey, I did it, I killed Stargirl, I deserve a seat, and her father's like, you messed up because for one, Stargirl ain't dead, and number two, you allowed her to live after she saw the tunnels. And three, now I gotta explain your mistake and your failure to the rest of the ISA. And he's like saying if they weren't going to give you a seat on the table then, they definitely won't give you a seat at the table now. And my guy is not too pleased with Cindy. He's like, hey, you're gonna you're gonna leave the suit here, and you're gonna go back home. And Cindy's like, nah. She's almost like, nah. But then he's like, hey, don't make me take off my mask. And you can clearly see that she's like, yeah, I don't want none of that. And decides to go back. So allow me to fast forward, actually, where Beth does make it underground. And while she's there, connection is breaking up with Rick and Yolanda because obviously the tunnels for the ISA would be well protected, blocking out any communications. And she doesn't make it far, but it's enough for her to hear Solomon Grundy. And I love one of my funniest things there. She's like, "Nope, I'm out." So basically, basically she goes ahead and decides to say, "Hey, look, um, hey, look, they Before I get into it, yes, 1999 is when Courtney Whitmore began. So hey, yeah, that was the little Easter egg. but but like I was saying. So anyway, let's go back. We're getting to the last part where basically Cindy goes to um, Cindy is back at Courtney's place, and she's saying that, hey, you and I are a lot alike. If things had gone differently, you would have been like me. And Courtney's like, well, if things had gone differently, you could also been like me. And then she brushes off that, yeah, maybe, and she goes ahead and eats all of the chocolate, and basically says, hey, um, as she's about to take her leave, she's like saying, oh, I know you're Stargirl. That's right, yeah. You didn't think I wouldn't know you're Stargirl through your costume? And she's like, well, um, I'm gonna basically keep that in mind. Blab your secret I'm not gonna blab your secret to my dad or his crew, because I don't want them to like sideline me or bench me. So your secret's safe with me, but I'm gonna kill your friends. So that kind of threw out any type of hopeful redemption for her that I had wanted. But there's still maybe a seed here or there. But for the moment, nada. Um, Also worthy to note is that two B plots are happening. Icicle Senior basically went to this town with Barbara, for a meeting. But at the same time, he tracked down somebody who could have blown the whistle on a chemical plant dumping chemicals that killed his wife. And it was ruthless, but it was also kind of like, bruh, chill, because clearly he said, yeah, you didn't do the dumping, and yeah, you didn't benefit from the stock kickbacks that your elites did. You didn't do anything, but you could have done something. And I'm like, whoa, dang, chill, bro. Like, but then he kills him. But then also we see that Henry Brainwave's son is starting to his powers are developing at a fast rate, basically. His mind cannot handle it. His telekinesis is beginning to but his telepathy is out of control, where he can hear people, and the pills are not helping, and whatnot. So back to um, basically Cindy's house. Um, Courtney texts Yolanda saying that, hey, Cindy knows who I am. You got to get out of there, basically. And so they contact Beth saying that, hey, Cindy's coming because she happens to be coming. And Pat, by the luck of the draw, always by the luck of the draw, when Cindy busts in, Pat is busy working on some sink plumbing. So Cindy doesn't even know he's there. And she's like, oh, whatever. Um, and Pat is busy getting some eyes from the stepmom because she's liking what she's seeing and whatnot. But basically Beth is like upstairs and she's like, I'm not going to leave without some type of intel. And so she finds a picture of Dr. Ito where they find out that he was a war criminal. He was born in 1901. So this show has him at almost 120 years old. And it's basically that he did all these things. He was a war criminal. He was tried and he was supposedly executed in 1947 for his dirty bomb tests in China when Japan was at the height of its imperial power, basically. So they managed to escape, and Courtney decides to say, "Oh no, I'm taking the fight to Shiv so that she doesn't hurt my friends." So basically, they find Shiv is like they managed to escape, but Shiv is inspecting her room later that night, thinking that somebody was in here. And before she even has time to think, Courtney just busts in and just starts wrecking the place. And what's funny is that that kind of almost saves Beth from being exposed, because Cindy has no time to investigate whether or not somebody was in her room or who it was. So we get another pretty nice fight, and I guess Courtney this time learns a bit from her last encounter, where you know she attacks her and whatnot, and she has a little bit of the upper hand, but it's clear that Cindy is enhanced, has more strength, and has her down. And as she falls out of her room because Stargirl just basically tackles her outside of her house, we see that Henry is on the way to her house because he found a file and a letter pretty much stating that, hey, Cindy's going to watch over your son and she will be a good for you. So he's realizing that his whole relationship has been constructed. and whatnot. So he sees Cindy on the ground. He's like saying something's wrong, and Cindy's like saying, I have to kill Stargirl." And Henry's like, well, "No, like we should get out of here. He doesn't know what to do." So basically, Cindy has pinned Stargirl down on the pavement. She's ready to finish what she wants to start, what she started, about to that murder Stargirl. But of course, she's like saying, "Henry, it's like we have to do this together. We can finally get a seat at the table." But he can read her thoughts, saying that he's so weak and this and that, and he can hear Stargirl's like pleading that she's too strong and all this and stuff. So it basically comes to a head, and he releases a huge telekinetic telepathic blast which knocks them both two different ways. um and Shiv is fine and she's getting ready for more, but Dr. the Dragon King's subordinates come in and pick her up and whisk her down into the sewers, and that's the end of her. And he sees Stargirl, and he doesn't know what to do, and he's getting all these types of thoughts. I mean, he hears Courtney's identity, he hears about the JSA, he hears about the ISA, but right now his powers are way out of control, and he doesn't know exactly what to do, so he just runs away. All the while Dr. Ito is basically noticing that, hey, he does have powers. My daughter was wrong, and that's that. So let's get into the usual pros, the neutrals, and the cons. Um, the pros in this episode. Um, I have to say I'm going to group all three of the JSA kids together, um, but it mostly goes to Beth, heading them. I've always said that this is more likely Beth's role, somebody who is not really who should be in the field of battle, but more of like somebody who collects intel, somebody who's a scout, somebody who's like the information broker. And she's out there collecting information. She gave a great speech to Rick saying that, hey, we need to have some cool heads. We all care about Courtney, but we got to approach this and work it the correct way. So I really like Beth. She's really growing into her own character. It's fantastic and it's wonderful. Um, Another pro that I have is Cindy. Yeah, she's diabolically evil. It's interesting, but it's also I found it almost surprisingly refreshing that she was like, "Yeah, I know you're Stargirl. Yeah, we're not going to drag this out. I know who you are, and I'm going to kill your friends. I'm not going to reveal your identity because I have my own agenda." So I'm like, "Oh, that is interesting indeed. That is interesting." So that was very refreshing. Um, Dr. Ito, Dragon King, another pro. This guy's um this guy's presence. He's even more almost as if not slightly more intimidating than Icicle Senior. Who knows? And I feel like he has his own agenda. Uh, but he's definitely a presence. He's definitely there, and he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. Another pro is Pat. Um, I would say that he's always coming through. He's been probably the most solid character in uh in in the in the show. I would say most consistently solid, and I really enjoy his presence all the time. Um, Another pro I'll have to say is the Courtney and Cindy rivalry, Stargirl and Shiv. It's definitely huge in the comics, and this is inspiring me to go ahead and touch up on those old comics of Stargirl, basically. But as I was saying as well, uh, this is how you build a rivalry. This is what you do. So I really liked it. Um, so that's that. I believe those are all the pros. My neutrals. Uh, well, hold on. One last pro would be Henry. I did like his, discovering his powers, his turmoil. It really adds to his character. They've made him a very complex character already, from jock to, you know, very troubled teen who doesn't know where these powers are coming from. Dad's in the hospital. He's finding out his girlfriend was a plant, essentially. And hey, what can he do? So we get into the neutrals. Neutrals go to Mike. Now, Mike has been getting better, but he hasn't really reached that good pro yet at all. He's went from the cons to the neutrals, so maybe he's on that path to being improved. But, he's still neutral, but I did like how he went to Courtney and saying, hey, I'm sorry. I kind of snapped back there. And, I'm happy you're my sister, and I'm happy that you see Pat as a dad and how he sees you as a daughter because that means you're my sister and all that. So it was nice. It was very beautiful. Really liked it. It was fantastic. And considering this episode, I mean, it's really like, the suspense was killing me. I guess you can call that a con. We're in the cons, but there were really no cons in this episode, I think. Um, which leaves me to give this a score of 9 out of 10. Now, we have to get into the main reason of why I am filming this. So, Stargirl got renewed for a second season, as it should. It's a fantastic show. But unfortunately, it's moving to the CW, which has me worried immensely. CW has been milking its shows. The Flash is apparently still good. Nobody talks about uh, um, Heroes of Tomorrow, Legends of Tomorrow. Nobody. Supergirl is failing, and Batwoman was a mess. I am greatly worried that the CW will wreck this show because this show is well shot, well acted, well written. I don't trust the CW. They may say that, oh, everybody's still going to be on board, but the network will find a way to interfere. And that's what I'm afraid of. And I hope it doesn't. I hope that it can maintain this good writing and the themes of family and fatherhood and growth because look at Batwoman. All of a sudden she's doing all sorts of amazing things on the first day of the job. Courtney, we're 8 episodes in, and she hasn't even accomplished half of what Batwoman has done on her first go. And that's okay, because this is her first time as a hero. As Batwoman was supposed to be a first time hero. Courtney's going through the bumps, she's learning. She's making mistakes and getting better, and also learning more that she needs to be a team player and perhaps even a better leader if she's to lead her team. We don't see that type of growth with these new CW shows with the way that the CW has been trending. So yes, I'm greatly worried about the future of Stargirl on the CW. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to enjoy this ride as long as it's on the DC universe, and it's really sad that the DC universe is kind of losing the luster that it had when it first launched. Hi. They really should have sent Stargirl to HBO Max. I would have been more comfortable, but what can you do again? So yeah, this is a 9 out of 10. So thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notifications. Make sure you're notified and comment below on your views of this episode. What did you think? Once again, I do these reviews for you, the people, because I want to good shows like this and get your views on them. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope to have more videos up tomorrow. Peace.